Hey there, everybody. I just wanted to give you a quick heads up. Partway through this video, we were talking about a couple of the characters in this arc of Greed Island for Hunter x Hunter, and one of the characters they meet is the character of Biscay. And for some reason, my brain completely forgot her name was Biscay and thought it was Binky. So there's a bunch of times throughout the video where we just call her Binky instead of Biscay. So instead of just making it something that I mess up on and I feel bad about, let's turn this into a little fun game for me and you guys. Comment down below how many times I said Binky instead of Biscay, alright? I think this will be a lot of fun for you guys and some good engagement here, so let's just move on to the video. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Zaggard-tastic video. I am your host, the one, the only Zaggard, and I am joined with...
Hi, Claire.
And we just finished the Greed Island arc in Hunter x Hunter.
Yes.
And that starts with right after the Yorknew City arc with the spiders.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the auction and they run into two of the members and they're like, hey, you don't need to run away from us. We're just here to enjoy the auction.
That's true. It's all chill.
And they realize that, Gon realizes that they probably won't be able to win a copy of the Greed Island because there are so many other people who have way more money than them who are trying to get it.
Yeah, which I don't know why he didn't realize this before. Like, why didn't he think, like, oh, yeah, maybe someone will hire us to go in the game?
Well, because he didn't know that that was a thing that people did.
Yeah, that's true.
Figures out that he can get hired by somebody who wants people to play in the game. So instead of trying to win the game, they let people know that they wanted to buy the game, and then they run into the old guy who's hiring a bunch of people and paying them, and he promises them a big prize if they finish the game.
Yeah, because he's the winner. I mean, he had... Right? He bought like 7 of them or something?
Yeah, he bought
like
a bunch
huge
of
amount.
So he can pay people to play the game for him.
That's right.
Because he doesn't know how to use Nen. And this one guy sees their Nen, he says, your Nen isn't nearly strong enough. I can tell based on your Ren alone.
Yeah.
You need some training before you can even get into Greed Island.
Yeah, so they already have to get stronger before they even get into the game.
And they need 1 week.
Yeah.
So they start thinking of ways to improve their Nen. And first, Killua, because he's a manipulator, he tries to make his Nen into electricity by shocking himself so he knows how electricity feels.
Yeah, which is really cool.
But it's also really depressing.
Well, it's very depressing, but I like the fact that he turned something that traumatized him into a kid into, like, power.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that does make sense. That does make it a lot cooler.
I mean, it is depressing.
Yeah, when you think about it, how he's so intimate with the feeling of electricity because he's been shocked his whole life.
Yeah.
To train himself to be a stronger
really
assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's kind of how it is in anime sometimes.
Alright, guys, see you next time. This is depressing. Bye.
Depressing.
I need to go take a nap now. I'm depressed.
No, you're fine. But anyways, he turns his Nen into electricity, so that's his new power, and then Gon figures out that he has to use all of the different...
Yeah, he basically just, like, combines everything he already knew into a super thing.
Which teaches him to focus it in one part of his body.
Yeah,
and then he makes a really powerful punch.
Yeah.
And so they finally do the exam. Exam.
Yeah, it's just a tryout.
Yeah, it's a tryout.
Yeah.
And they both pass, and so they get to go into Greed Island, and you get to see this amazing, beautiful world where they physically get sucked in. And then also the spider is going in there, or members of them are going into Greed Island.
That's right. And
the reason they're going in there is because they realize that they can find a guy who can get rid of Nen.
Right. To get rid of
Kurapika's.
Yes, Kurapika's what is it?
His Nen dagger that's on the
it's on
Chrollo's heart, so he can't use Nen.
Yeah.
And if that guy can take the Nen out of his body, he'll be able to operate again.
Which, do they even resolve their story?
Not at the end of this arc. No.
Yeah, because I'm like, they didn't even find the guy.
No, they did find him.
Oh.
I'll explain when we get there.
Okay, anyway.
So, they get into this world, and the first thing they find out is that you can use this book, and you can get these special cards. They're 0 to 99 are the restricted slots. Oh, hi, Kitty.
We got a kitty joining us.
My kid's like, I love Greed Island.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Was my favorite arc because there were kitties and cat people, and I might be thinking of a different anime. But anyways, meow.
Yeah, she totally watched it with us.
She did kind of look at the screen.
A little bit, yeah.
Because she's such a curious kitty.
Yeah.
So we get into Greed Island, and we learn that there's a book where it has 0 to 99, 100 restricted slots. So a card has to have, you can put one card of that number in those slots.
Yeah.
And you win the game by getting all of those 100 cards. And then there are 45 free slots where you can put any other card in there.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of... I mean, it makes sense. They're going into a game, but there's, like, a lot of information they kind of give you right off the bat.
Yeah, they give you it off the bat.
It's not, like, overwhelming or by any means. It's pretty simple. Like, but it is kind of a lot all at once.
Especially if you're not a gamer.
Exactly. Though I will say, and I told you this, genius idea of... Well, the manga writer and, of course, the character who makes the game,
Jing.
Sorry, Jing. Because it's like not only is it gonna have these video game this video game feel to it, but you're also gonna have to win by trading cards or getting cards.
Well, yeah, that's
this perfect combination of gaming,
trading card, and actual like gaming, and then we find out that this isn't a virtual world. This is actually an island in the real world.
Yeah.
However, one of the game devs protects people from breaking into here.
Right.
He has a special card that just knocks out anybody he wants to knock out.
That's right.
So if you join the game normally, you can play, but if you try to break in...
Well, yeah, because then it's like, what's the point of trying to get the game and trying to play the game and get money?
And there's a bunch of stuff that they learn that that there have been people playing this for 10 years, and so there's a bunch of different factions. And they realize really early on that getting cards normally through the normal events is a loser's run.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people just waiting at those areas to just steal your cards from you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so they have to think outside the box, which is really cool.
At the same time, they also find out that there's a guy going around called the Bomber.
It's like, no.
Because this is how I think. I just, like, I'm going through it in my head. They find out there's a guy named the Bomber.
Yeah, which is a really cool name, by the way.
He's been going around killing people, but no one knows who he is. He just explodes them somehow with his Nen ability.
I love that I don't love the villain, but I love the idea of him. Or like his persona, his identity.
Some people didn't really think he was dangerous or really a threat, but I always did.
I totally think he was. I think, like, we'll probably get to this later, but you know, the main thing is he underestimates Gon and Killua. So if he didn't, he would be way more of a threat. And he's a threat to so many people in the game.
Well, they even say really early on that his Nen is at such a high level that Gon and Killua can't even compare to him. Yeah. So they have to basically trick him instead.
Yeah, they have to outsmart him.
And we find out later, he has 2 goons with him too. So it's actually 3 people who are all very powerful at Nen and share an ability.
Yeah, I don't think it's that he's not a threat. It's just that it's...
This arc
he's
is more
not
about...
as much of a threat to Gon and Killua.
Well, he
could be.
He is and he isn't. It's more that he's not an ever-present threat like most other villains are.
Sure.
Like the spider during the Yorknew city arc, they're always in the story somewhere. The Bomber kind of takes a backseat a lot of the time when Gon and Killua are just straight up playing the game.
Especially to them, he takes a backseat,
Because they're there, because this game was made by Gon's dad and a bunch of his friends.
Yeah.
And when they meet Binky, who we skipped over, but Binky's a really great addition, the girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she turns out she's actually like a 60-year-old woman who makes herself look like...
buff and giant for some reason.
That's just how she looks, because she actually trained physically in martial arts.
I'm just thinking, is she part giant? Like, no.
That's just she's physically strong.
She's that strong.
And she's a Nen... Nen master. I would say she's a Nen master.
Oh, yeah.
Because she said she learned these skills like 40 years ago.
That's right.
So she's in her 60s, somewhere around
She's a pro at this point, obviously.
And she uses her Nen to make herself look like a little girl, because she prefers that look.
Yeah, because she hates how, like, she's not cute at all and just strong.
Too muscular.
Yeah. I mean, like, she doesn't hate that she's strong, but too muscular, you know, too
manly.
Too manly, I guess.
Yeah, and she doesn't like that. Mm-hmm. And so, but anyway, she starts training Gon and Killua, and she says, we hear this from her, that this game was probably made to teach them Nen so they could practice but have fun while practicing.
Who, them? Like, just people who join the game?
Well, just Gon specifically.
Oh, you think? Well, I guess because his dad does tell him to go into the game, basically.
Yeah, and also there's a bunch of stuff in the game that helps you practice things like Nen. Like, there's that one bubble horse thing that literally makes you practice going into Zetsu and then going out of Zetsu and then in Zetsu and out of Zetsu to dodge the different bubbles it has.
Yeah. A lot of this arc is, like, more training. But also, it's not even a lot. Like, half of it's training, I guess, and the other half is, like, you know...
Just them playing the game and having fun.
Yeah, but I think it works because they're learning, they're getting stronger while just having a good time, so it doesn't feel Like, oh, here's another training arc. Even though it is, part of it is, but that's fine.
And then I love the part with
I love training arcs.
when they go to the last area to get the patch of shore. We're skipping ahead a bit, but they get a bunch of different cards, and we get a montage of it. But we also learn the bomber has stolen a bunch of cards, and he has the most cards in the game now. He's the closest to winning.
Yeah.
And all these other factions don't want to win, or don't want him to win specifically because he's been killing off other players.
Yeah, he'd be extremely powerful if he left the game at this point. Too.
Well, it's mostly
he already was.
It's not really that he'd be powerful. It's that they don't want him to win because he's a villain.
He's not a good person. Yeah. He killed a bunch of people.
And so they find out that where to get the last card, Patch of Shore, is at this one specific town, this sea town. And when you take 15 people there, it starts a certain event.
Yeah.
That will lead you to these pirate villains who are actually real people in the game. They're not NPCs like the other NPCs are.
Yeah. Is that when they do the dodgeball thing?
Before they do the dodgeball, they see the other tests and they purposely fail them to see what the games could be. And then they bring back actual experienced people who actually want to finish it. And then they do the dodgeball.
Yeah.
And we meet really Razor. Cool. I love Razor's so cool.
He's so buff.
And I think this arc would have been more memorable for people if they spent more time building up Razor throughout the arc instead of just that one scene where it shows that he's a developer.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I used to be a convict.
Yeah.
And then like, I'm here to fight you because that's what Ging wanted me to do. Jing. I keep saying Ging. God.
It's because your brain doesn't think to put a hard G at the beginning of a word unless it's like giraffe. Just think of his name like Jing Say. Right. Take off the saying.
Oh gosh, it's just like this GIF thing all over again. Which is right? I don't know. No, this is obviously right.
Well, yeah, this one has an answer.
But it's like ja and ga. Like what? Yeah, my brain doesn't know what to remember.
But so we get Razor, and they get the cool dodgeball scene where not only is it Gon, Killua, this other guy they met in the game, and this group of soldiers, but they're working with Hisoka as well to beat it.
Oh yeah, Hisoka's in this arc, which I did not think would happen. It was cool that he was in the arc.
Yeah, because he's secretly hiding out there
to get the attention of Frollo.
Yeah, to get the attention of the spider. He can talk to them. Frollo can't talk to them. Remember, that was one of the things he's not allowed to do.
Right.
So he can tell them about the Nen releaser guy, the guy who can get rid of Nen, and he can intermediate between the spider and Frollo to get information because he wants Frollo to be at the toughest power so they can fight to the death.
That's right. Yeah. It's cool that he actually teamed up with them. I don't know. We gotta. She wanted to sit here, so she's demanding pets.
So we get that cool dodgeball scene, and we finally see Gon and Killua. Gon's new ability. First comes rock.
Oh yeah, which is cool.
Then comes paper.
It's very clever.
Rock, paper, rocked.
Yeah, but what about scissor?
You're gonna see it in the next arc.
Okay, I'm like, what? I need to finish it, please.
It's because it's supposed to be like rock, paper, rock. You know when you're playing it.
Yeah, because it's like rock, paper, then you do.
And then he picks which one.
Yeah.
And currently in the Greed Island arc, he only does the rock one.
Yeah.
It's just a really powerful
Super powerful punch. Not surprising. He puts all his nen into his
fist.
Yeah, and because he's an enhancer, he can do that really well.
And then we see Razor is, I think he's a conjurer / emitter. I can't really.
I don't know if they really say.
I think it's. I mean, you could probably look it up online.
Yeah. They don't say it specifically though.
I think he's a conjurer, and he's able to create all those extra body doubles for himself, who work autonomously. And they can merge apparently too to become stronger.
Oh yeah.
Because remember, there's that one point where it's like neither of these numbers will be able to catch that ball, and then they merge to catch it.
That's right. Yeah.
And
it's really cool.
So he's so fast at throwing the dodgeball that they can't even keep up with it.
It's like extreme dodge. Like dodgeball always gave me anxiety in school because I just hated people throwing stuff at my face. Like any big soccer, I hated soccer because the idea of it coming at my face. Like I could play like baseball, but I couldn't do it with a big ball. So anytime someone threw freaking giant ball in my head, I hated it so much. So just imagine playing dodgeball with like bowling balls and people who can throw them really well.
Well, it's not that it's a bowling ball. It's that he puts his nen into it, and his nen there's so much in it that it makes it as heavy as a bowling ball.
I know it's not literally a bowling ball.
Oh, okay. I was clarifying for the video.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know they're not playing with bowling balls. Like it's it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor and shit.
Sort of, yeah.
It's a way of comparing like how they actually
how heavy it is and how strong his nen is. And so we get Gon, Killua, and Hisoka are the last three left standing. All the other ones have gotten taken out.
Yeah.
But they took out all his body doubles as well.
That's right.
So it's just him versus the three of them.
And
Like, we have a number
huge
advantage.
threat.
So instead, what he does, he gets rid of all the extras. So it's just, so he's not spreading his net out. So it's just full net power now.
Full OP power.
And what Gon does, Gon and Killua do is Killua holds the ball and Gon does a full punch, but it ends up destroying Killua hands. Remember how ruined they were?
That was
They're
rough.
purple and all like puffed out.
Which really just shows their like strong bond.
Yeah.
And their determination to
And they
win.
finally do it together, and they punch it, but he knocks it back. And he's like, Gon won't dodge it because Gon wants the full victory of being able to beat me by hitting me. But then Gon does dodge it because he goes unconscious from using up too much nen.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna miss, and
Hisoka uses his spongy gum.
Yeah, Hisoka says this isn't the win he wanted, right? So he does the bungee gum to send it back, and he's like, I'll just throw it back up in the air. But because bungee gum sticks to his body, it just ends up sending him flying back out of the ring, and that's how he loses.
Oh, that's right.
And that's how Gon gets his final victory.
Because he hits him and he...
No, he tried because it was too heavy for him to catch it.
Yeah.
So instead, what he was going to do is spike it up like a volleyball.
Yeah.
And he goes to try and spike it up because of bungee gum. It just hits him and then it gets stuck to him, so he can't throw it back out.
Yeah.
So
it just knocks him backward.
Yeah, because it's stuck to him and the momentum is so strong, it can't stop him from moving.
That's right. Yeah, that was really cool. I really liked it.
It was a really and we get and Hisoka
sequence.
Even joins in. He's like, that was fun.
Yeah. He's like literally. I think he just came along because he's obsessed with them.
Well, also he was bored.
And he was bored. And I think he just wanted to see how powerful they were now too.
And he's like,
which makes sense.
They're a lot more powerful. So this is.
It really
good.
shows how much more powerful they are. Because like the other people besides Hisoka didn't stand a chance.
Well, Binky. But she got, remember?
Right,
She got out because it hit her clothes.
That's true.
And
Which still, this is such bullshit. Like, oh, it hit your clothes, so you're out. It's like, yeah, she was wearing a poofy dress. Of course it's gonna hit her. If it was directed at Gon or Killua or anyone else, it wouldn't have hit her. So I'm just saying that's not really fair. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna throw the sexism word around because that's stupid. That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, because if a guy was wearing a cape.
Exactly. But it's still like, really? That was kind of like lazy writing to me, but that's fine. I get like they wanted Binky to not.
Yeah, because Binky was another like super ultra pro nen user.
Exactly.
Because she trained them.
Really quick, I realized I just said his OP power.
Overpowered
power.
I mean, yeah.
I guess that's true.
That does work.
Yeah. It just sounds stupid.
It sounds redundant. It doesn't sound stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, that was really cool. I like that scene too.
Yeah, they like scenes like this is why I want a dodgeball anime. Like a good a Kuroko.
Yeah.
A Kuroko anime, but for dodgeball.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I wonder if there is one. There might be, but
there probably
I haven't
is.
heard
It's not
of
good enough.
Yeah, it's not good enough to really get anybody's attention.
Yeah. I really like the lore of just this arc in general, and I'm not the lore, just like the world of the game.
Of Greed Island.
Yeah, like I really like that. I always love it when characters go into a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's like really interesting. I'm not like a huge video game person, but I always love it when that happens.
Especially since it's not even a virtual reality. Yeah. It's the real world with some virtual reality stuff like, but it's all nen. It's all real.
Yeah, so like the NPCs are
like the book
nen.
and the spells from the book.
Yeah, it's all real, but they have very specific things, just like a video game too. Yeah.
So after they beat the dodgeball game, we get to see Hisoka talking with two of the members of the Spiders, and he's like, "I just had a fun match, and now I want to kill someone random." And we see a little girl show up. And it's Killua younger sister from the Zoldyck family arc.
Yeah, they're bringing her into it now.
And now she's going to be a spider, which my mind is like, you realize Kurapika's goal is to kill all the spiders.
Yeah.
That's Killua sister. This
I
is going to be
she
some...
came later.
She could... He might spare her.
Yeah.
But this is like, it makes this cool, like, under-level story that we know there's going to be some tension between them fighting.
Yeah.
Because he's going to want to protect his family.
Absolutely.
And he's going to want to kill the spider.
There's even more conflict now.
Yeah, now there's like in-conflict between the characters. And we haven't even gotten to a point where that's happened yet in the manga even. But that seed has now been planted in our head.
Yeah.
So long as the manga writer knows how to write the story, which I'm confident he does, because every story of his has been good. So long as he remembers that seed he planted later,
yeah,
we're gonna get an amazing story out of this.
I'm sure.
I can see it.
I'm sure we will. Also, I love how I love it how in this world, like, the characters just kind of jump into arcs you don't expect. You know, like in the last arc where it was like, oh, there's Killua's dad and grandpa, and then his brother was hired to kill the Dons, but the Dons hired them. You know, so it's just like, it's fun when they like throw in.
Yeah, it's fun when you have
characters.
other elements from other things
Yeah.
mixed together, because it feels like it's a real breathing world, not just this is a story that happens here and nothing outside affects this story. It actually feels like this is a world.
Yeah.
Things happen. They're all connected.
Exactly. It's really good art.
And so then we get we saw the bomber earlier put bombs on a bunch of people, and one guy was able to summon a Nen beast to eat the Nen, but he says it can't disappear until the Nen is actually released, so he's stuck with this weird worm thing hanging out with him.
That's right, which we don't really ever see him after that. It's just like, oh, he got it off. Oh, and then he disarms himself at the end.
Yeah, because
while he's in this big thing.
Yeah, one of the ways to get rid of it is you have to go get to the bomber and say, I caught the bomber. And then that finally gets rid of that creepy Nen beast thing that he had. That weird human-faced worm.
Which was really cool to see the bomber's reveal, by the way, of like, hey, I've been here the whole time, and I'm like helping you guys, but just kidding, I'm just gonna take all your cards. Oh, and you're all dead now.
Yeah, we're gonna kill you anyways.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking monster.
Yeah. He's very smart, too, which is what again, he's very intelligent as well. So I don't know why people say he's not a threat. Like, he clearly is. I don't know where that came from. That's silly.
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we get, after that, they now have a bunch of the rare cards, and they have one rare card that his group needs, the bomber's group needs.
Yeah.
And
so
they have the original.
Yeah. And
they copied it to Hezgeta's group and the other guy, but the bomber probably wouldn't think he would leave it in the hands of a bunch of kids. The soldier guy.
Yeah, because he doesn't know how strong they are.
Yeah, and the soldiers realize that they can rely on Golem to finish the game for them. Because not only is he powerful, but he's very smart, and so is Killua, and they're working with Binky, who's also very powerful and smart. And so they work together to distract the bombers for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then they play tag.
While Gon and Killua get stronger than them, and they come up with a plan to be able to defeat the bomber.
Yeah, I thought that was really clever. I mean, like, really ballsy of the writer to be like, okay, you're gonna practice this thing, right? Because he had to jump to 5 levels, and then he just doesn't. It's like, sorry, you don't have time.
Yeah, so
it shows that Gon just can't just succeed in everything. So instead, they decide to deal with this plan. It's like, with the trapping thing and all that. But I mean, I don't know if ballsy is the right word, but like
creative.
It was very creative and like.
And it was realistic.
It was intelligent and realistic of the writer to do that. To be like, okay, Gon can't just master everything right away.
Yeah, because it would have been annoying if it's like. Because remember, he says, wow, that's a really hard test for him to pass if that's only level 3. And she goes, no, it's level 5. I skipped a bunch because doing level 3 wouldn't get him far enough. He needs to be able to beat level 5. But if he doesn't finish it by the end of the week, we should just give up on him trying to get that far ahead. Yeah. And he doesn't succeed it because you're not supposed to go in that progression.
Yeah, that's not how it works. You can't, I mean, like, again, it's like you can get strong fast, but you can't skip a bunch of steps to get strong.
Yeah, he's not the perfect character. So he actually does have to get better.
Yeah. Which is really
cool. At a normal-ish pace. Like, he's obviously going...
He goes faster than other people.
He goes faster than other people, but he's not like a god who's just like, oh, I figured it out.
Yeah.
Cool. There's actually...
Easy.
It shows that he actually has hurdles he still has to climb, and so does Killua.
Yeah, and so then they use their intelligence and outsmart the guy who was
And they use the fact that they all look like little kids.
Yeah.
To try and get him to underestimate them. So first what they do is they have them all 3 show up, and then they make it look like they don't want to fight them all one-on-one.
Which
and
they
so
don't.
Instead...
They don't want to fight them one-on-one.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, no, sorry, they do. I thought you meant they didn't. Never mind.
And so they split them up, and then Binky shows off her real form.
Yeah.
Her fucking monster gorilla lady.
Yeah.
Which I still think she looks pretty, but a little too manly.
Oh yeah, she's a giant, muscle builder.
And she just punches the guy with one punch in the face, and he gets knocked out, and his face gets like caved in.
Yeah, they totally baited them. They're like, "Oh no, you're coming after us! Ah, we're kids."
And then
it's like they pulled a Rorschach. Like, you're not trapped in here.
Yeah, that's...
I'm not trapped here with you. You're trapped in here with me. Especially Blinky. Binky doing that. Oh, yeah, her name's Binky? I did not remember that. Why is it Binky?
Because that's just her name.
That's just her name?
It's the same as that other character that you saw in the recent episode, whose name is Stick Dinner.
And someone's name is Banana.
Dinner, yeah, like...
I mean, no, I just thought it was funny with Binky because it's like a little kid. Binky, she looks like a little kid.
I
like,
think
what
that
are the
might
odds?
have been the point.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why I thought that was funny. But the other two...
Yeah, the other two don't make sense.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
we can save that for
if
the
you don't
other
believe
arc.
me, look them up. There's a character named Banana and a character named Stick Dinner.
Yeah, they're not very big.
They're not
literally
important
mentioned
characters,
like once.
But it just goes to show that the mangaka is not great at naming characters.
Yeah.
If you're gonna name a character, Stick Dinner.
Yeah, Stick Dinner. I'm sorry, what is that?
That's just his name.
I didn't know there was a Stick Dinner, and I don't want to eat it.
Yeah, I guess like fish sticks.
Yeah.
Or cheese sticks.
And I really don't want to be named Banana.
Yeah,
that somehow was worse. I don't even know how. Most people would probably disagree with me, but Banana? Okay, anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on to something the actual
That's not relevant. That's more relevant to what's happening.
So then we get
This
Killua
arc.
versus the other bomber guy. And he's using these yo-yos, and that guy's like,
Super random.
I'll be able to trick him and get rid of the yo-yos. And then it turns out he has like a bunch of yo-yos, and he has a bunch of fake plans to trick him.
Randomly, Killua got yo-yos. They didn't really set that up.
Yeah, they don't really need to, because he knows where to get cool shit and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a cool look. I mean, it looks cool. You know, it's a cool action scene. I don't know. The whole thing was cool. I was just like, I had no idea he had yo-yos. So I was like, okay.
Well, it's like, it's like when a character just gets an upgrade.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not super important that he got the yo-yos.
No.
It's just one of the things he used to trick
He's like, you think I'm a kid? Well,
and then the final one is
attack you with yo-yos.
Gon versus the actual bomber.
Yeah.
And he has, they say don't let him grab you. And he sacrifices his left hand in that fight.
Which is like a permanent thing. I mean, it gets fixed.
Yeah, because the magic card is
magic. But like, it's not like it was like an illusion or something. Like, it really came off his whole, like, ow. Ow.
Yes, that's what
Thinking about losing body parts is just...
Well, yeah, nobody wants to lose a body part.
Obviously.
But Gon's like, I'm willing to sacrifice it to prove that I can beat you.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna be a little selfish, see if I can beat him one-on-one.
Yeah.
And he realizes he can't. So then he does the actual plan, breaks the floor beneath them, and then when they fall down, and then he goes inside a small hole and throws up a giant boulder.
Really cool the way the writer did that.
And then the bomber's like, I don't want to get crushed, so he gets stuck in there, and he's like, okay, I'm barely gone. And then Gon just punches him in the stomach as hard as he can.
Yeah.
And it was a great way to beat the bomber.
Absolutely. And another thing that was really good writing, where it was like, Gon was like, I want to try and beat him one-on-one. Then he realizes, okay, I can't do this yet. And then he's a smart character, not stupid, and realizes he has work to do still. And then, does it according to plan. That's really nice. And it shows how realistic the writing is.
Yep. And then he finally gets all the cards except for number 0. And since he got all the other 99 cards, it starts a special event in the game that they'll all do a quiz. And it's actually questions about the game. And it's perfect because Gon and Killua were the only two who actually wanted to play the game for the game.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else was trying to fight each other to get the cards, stealing them.
Fame and glory.
Well, because they could get some cool stuff or money or things. Yeah. Because Gon and Killua were the only ones who actually played the game, met the NPCs, learned their names and stuff like that. Gon ends up winning the contest, getting the final card, so he gets all 100. So he gets to go to the capital city.
Yep.
And he becomes the king of it, and they're like, you can do whatever you want with it. And he meets these two more of the developers, like, my name is Dune. W-D-U-N-E.
Oh, yeah.
But your dad made me change the name of it to D-U-N because he thought the E was too confusing, and it didn't make sense to have a silent W. And that way it would spell out the word greed for Greed Island. And he legally changed my name too. Your dad's such a jerk.
Yeah, I love that. Like, he's just like, I'm gonna tell you the story about how your dad was a jerk here. It's just like an interesting little comedic moment.
You get to meet how selfish Jingle is.
Also, they're like, why get rid of his? I can understand the first letter, but the last letter,
because it was too confusing.
That's not confusing. It's a silent E.
Yeah, it's too confusing to spell that out.
Well, he's stupid. I'm sorry. I'm not all like pro Jing over here. I've expressed this. I'm like, he's still a shit dad.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Obviously, he abandoned his child. Like, that's not a debate. I'm sorry. Like, he's a cool character. At least apparently he is. I don't know. Well, until I hear otherwise, he's still a shit dad.
Yeah, that's fair. But we finally get the end, and then that guy's like, "Do you want the secret end, the regular ending, or the special ending just for you, Gon?" And Gon's like, "I'd like the normal ending so I can share it with my friends." And
Friendship.
And then the other guy's like, "We're just kidding. There's a special ending just for you."
That's fine.
So they get their final ending. They get to be the winners of the game, and they go out into the world. And Binky gets her card, which is the blue planet, which is a jewel.
She just wants a jewel.
Well, because she's a jewel, a rare jewel hunter.
I
That's her whole
know.
thing.
I'm just like, okay. You could have gotten something more useful, but you do you.
What does she need that's more useful? She's already a Nen master.
It's true, and she's like 60.
This is also
she's probably is good with money and all
this
that.
is also the arc where we learned that Jing is considered one of the top 5 Nen users in the world, which just shows how insane he is.
That's right.
And finally, Gon.
Jing is a really cool character. I do like him. At least, like, I understand
as a
why.
Character.
Yeah, I understand why people think he's cool, and like the writer's setting him up well to be this cool guy.
And
Interesting guy.
What Gon and Killua do is they use one card to turn a company into a one of the other restricted slots, because he can only take 3 restricted slot cards.
Right.
And then he used that, and he notices that his first person that he ever met was someone named N-I-G-G, Nig, and it's because he replaced the G and the N, so Jing to Nig.
That's right.
And he goes, I use a company on to go to. This is one of the cards that lets you teleport to other people.
Yeah, so he thinks he's going to his dad.
Yeah, he can teleport to his dad, and it ends up teleporting him to someone else.
To a long white-haired guy.
Kite. That's his name.
Yes.
And the reason is because
I knew that.
Jing said, if he uses magnetic force and he comes by himself, then I'm willing to meet him. But if he brings a friend, it shows he's too gutless to meet him. He's like, aren't you just being shy? No, just change it. Because he'd be too
that's what got me on a tangent about, like, Jing's kind of a jackass.
Well.
Like, he's too gutless to meet me without his friends. Like, no, it doesn't mean he's gutless. He just wants to bring his friend along.
Yeah, well...
You fucking asshole. I'm sorry.
Jing is thinking in adult terms, not in kid terms.
I know.
But
I gotta let it go.
We make Kite, and that's where we start the next arc, the Chimera Ant arc. And already you're a couple of episodes in, and...
Oh my god, it's so dark. It's so dark.
Yeah, 2 episodes in.
I was not prepared, because, like,
Then we'll save that for the next one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, this arc, though, the one we're reviewing, and the ones before the crime one were pretty lighthearted. Not lighthearted, but, like, the world is like, we're in a game! Woohoo! I mean, there's still murder.
Well, and then Yorknew, it was bandits killing mafia members, so it's like, no one innocent is dying here.
Sure, but, like, now it's like, oh my god. This is a creature feature film. It's like, it feels like the set of creature feature
we'll save that for next time.
Yeah, that's a preview.
What did you think of Greed Island?
I don't think it was as good as the one before.
Yorknew? Yeah, that makes sense.
Because, like, Yorknew had so much tension and
it had so much good character, and we finally meet the spider. And
and I love
doesn't
Frollo.
disappoint.
Yeah, but I still really liked it. I think it's probably my
second favorite.
Second favorite.
Out of the ones you've seen so far.
Yeah, not counting the one we're watching currently.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, it's my 3rd favorite because I've watched all of them so far.
Yeah, and I still really like the first one, which is the Hunter exam. But...
I like the Hunter exam, but for me, first of all, it was missing Nen because the mangaka hadn't thought of Nen yet.
Yeah.
In the world, and 2, I like it, but it was a little. I can't explain. It was a bit of a tutorial into the world sort of thing.
Yeah. No,
but overall, I still like the first arc. But this is definitely my 3rd favorite.
I think this is my second favorite.
Because I like games, and I like the kind of gamey world of it, but also like it's a training arc. I love training arcs.
Yeah, I love training arcs too. But it wasn't just training arc, like the fighting one. That was more.
That was
training.
more of a Heaven's Arena.
This was like 40% training, 60%. Something like that.
Yeah, and it was just a lot of fun, and I love seeing how this game operates and how all the different players have changed the way the game is supposed to play into like this hunted, like
they're
everybody's
just like, I want to take your cards.
Yeah, because they're all
cheaters.
And, well, no, it's built into the game to do that, but that's not what the game.
It's not the heart of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why Gon won the test. The test.
That's why he got the final card.
He's such a swell young man.
He's a swell young guy.
What a nice guy.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching the video. Nightshade, do you have anything you want to say? Yeah, thanks for watching. If you click that like button, I will get special kitty treats. And I will be able to get a special toy if you click subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video if you want to see more kitty stuff.
Yeah.
Meow, meow, meow. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thank you for watching this far into the video. If you could just hug that like button for me, it would really help me out. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, click that red subscribe button. We're getting close to 500 subscribers. I am super excited for when we reach that. And guys, I will see you in the next one. First comes rock, then comes scissors, then comes meows.